You're listening to the One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Hey kids, welcome to the MMA Fight Picks podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum, and today I'm going to pick fights for not only UFC Fort Lauderdale, Bellator 220 as well. So let's get to it. First up, coming Saturday. I think these were both on Saturday. Yeah, crazy. Well, one's on DAZN. I can tell you which one I'm not watching. One's on ESPN Plus. At least I'm a subscriber to one. April 27th at the Center, BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida. Jacare versus Hermansson. Looks like a great match, but I'll get to that in a minute. But first up, on way down on the prelims, you got Andrei Arlovski versus Augusto Sakai. So let's look at Arlovski here. He's gotten way down, knocked on the card there. I think he last had a no contest Walt Harris. It was overturned. He failed a post-fight drug test for LGD 4033, whatever that is. For that, he has 2 losses in a row to Shamil Abergamigov and Tai Tuivasa before having a win way back in March 2018 against Stefan Struve and Junior Albini, both decisions. Then they got Augusto. You know, he's hasn't lost since Bellator 179 in May 2017 against Chep Kondo. Very game. His last 3 fights have been TKO punches. So, including one on Dana White's Contender Series and one against the Vanilla Gorilla, Chase Sherman. Man, this is tough. Got the Slack thing going off there. I think that, based on 3 TKOs in a row, I got to go with the momentum here in Augusto Sakai. Maybe he doesn't get it done by knockout, but I think he's going to keep Arlovski on the defensive. And I think he's going to pull it off. Ben Killaby Saunders versus Takashi Sato. All right. So Ben, last fight. He's got 2 losses in a row. Lyman Good and Sergio Moraes. Sergio caught him in a triangle choke. Before that, he had a nice win over Jake Ellenberger. And before that, 2 losses in a row. So not really good on the wins and losses. And then you got Takato. Never fought in the UFC. Never beaten anyone I've ever heard of. Last win over Matt Valley. Pancrase 300. He was the main event. Ooh. You know what? I got to go with Killaby here. He has a Wikipedia page. Sato doesn't. And you got to think that the UFC jitters are a real thing. So we shall see. I hope I am right. You never can tell. Glover Teixeira coming back after a nice win over Carl Robertson. Before that, he loses to Corey Anderson. He pretty much got wrestled to death. He beats Mishka Surkanov, loses to Alexander Gustafsson. That was way back in 2017. That was a fight right down to the wire. I think Glover got poked in the eye a bunch. Taking on, I guess it's Ion Cuțelaba. Oh, everything's a tongue twister anymore. Oh, look at this. This is great. So he has wins over Gadzimirad Antigulov and Henrique da Silva. Before that, he loses to Jared Cannonier, which I have to assume is a middleweight fight. No, it's not. It wasn't. It was a fight at 205 pounds. Wow. And then he got Glover. Going back to Glover, I think just based on strength of schedule, I think Glover has this. Yeah, Glover. He's always kind of be that kind of gatekeeper, top 5 kind of guy, but unless he has a real good run, I don't see him fighting for a title again real soon. But you never know. You never know. First up, Cowboy Alex Oliveira versus Mike Perry. Whoa. All right, Alex Oliveira. I didn't think much of this guy moving up to welterweight, but he has strung some wins. He did lose to Gunnar Nelson in spectacular fashion with that rear naked choke. Before that, though, he's got 2 wins in a row. Carlo Pedersoli, Carlos Condit. He loses to Yancey. It's hard to fight a guy named Yancey because, he had to grow up being tough with that kind of name, And then he gets wins over Tim Means. Mike Perry, okay. Nothing against Mike Perry. I don't know that I don't want to say he's not skilled. I mean, he beat me in a fight, but he did lose to Don Cerrone, who is now fighting 155 pounds, but he beats Paul Felder, a split decision. Paul Felder came up in weight on short notice. I think had Felder not got his arm broke right off the bat, Felder wins that fight, loses Max Payne Griffin, loses to Santiago Ponzinibbio. So, I think just based on, the strength of opponents here, I think that Cowboy has this one. Yeah, Cowboy over Mike Perry. We'll see. Oh, this one kills me. Greg Hardy in the co-main event? Come on. Against Dmitrii Smoliakov. So, okay, let's look at Greg Hardy. He was losing that fight. I think he may have done okay in the first round. He loses that fight. Second round, it wasn't going his way. Illegal knee. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not. But I can tell you this. He's not very experienced. And there he is, getting right back into the main card. The co-main event. After being the main event. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Let's look at Dmitrii. Let's see. How skilled is Dmitrii? Okay, a submission. Last fight. The AC Asian Challenge. Okay, this time they picked the guy nobody's heard of. For that, he loses to Cyril Asker, Luis Henrique, both in the UFC. Wins over a bunch of guys I've never heard of. You know what? I know they're bringing this guy in to get beat by Greg Hardy. He's going to win. I guarantee he's going to wear Greg out. He's going to do what he needs to do. He's going to get that submission. So, bye-bye, Greg. I hope I never have to see you again. Ever. At least in the main card. I know, that's not very nice. Jacare Souza. Ronaldo Souza against Jack Hermansson. What? I didn't even know who Jack Hermansson was a few weeks back. And, call me the casual fan, but I am the casual fan, I guess. Taking a look here. So let's look at Jacare's last fight. Oh, man, that was a tough one, too. Round 3, Chris Weidman. I thought Weidman was winning that fight. Loses a split decision to Kelvin Gastelum, who just fought for the title. Beats Derek Brunson. Loses to Robert Whittaker. I was there for that fight in Kansas City. It was really cool to watch because, you knew this could be a contender fight. And now Robert's the champ. Before that, he wins over Tim Boach, Vitor Belfort. Not what it used to be. Loses a split decision to Yoel Romero. Let's go back to Jack here. Jack wins over David Branch. Wins over Joe Marchart. Beats Thales Leadys. Last loss, Thiago Santos, who's now at 205. Last minute of the first round. This is tough, Hermansson just fought March 30th. I don't know, I don't know his weight cut's like. I don't think it's too short a notice. And then you got Jacare. I mean, Hermansson's got a good submission game as well. But can he keep it together with punches and kicks and keep distance from Jacare when he gets hands on you? But Gastelum did against him, and you wouldn't think that Gastelum would be all that great of a grappler. You know what? Young blood, Jack Hermansson, big upset, his way into the middleweight title division. How about that? Fighting for a title soon. All right, next up, Bellator 220. MacDonald versus Fitch. What? That's right. John Fitch back in the title picture in another organization. Interesting. Takes place also on Saturday. Available on DAZN at the SAP Center in San Jose, California. Nice. First up, Phil Davis against Liam McGeary. Oh, Phil, man. It's a tough out. He lost a split decision against Vadim Nemkov the last fight. Never heard of that guy. He probably should have went to his wrestling. Didn't. Wins over Linton Vassell. Win over Leonardo Liet. Loses Ryan Bader. I don't know if that was really a loss. I remember watching that fight. I was at a wedding or something, and I snuck away to a television. But he has wins over King Mo, Francis Carmont, Emmanuel Newton. All right. Let's go back to Liam McGeary here. He also has a win recently over Muhammad Lawal, King Mo there. For that 2 losses in a row, Vadim Nemkov, Linton Vassell, Brent McDermott, he wins again. He loses to Phil Davis. Okay, so, since he's got that loss already to Phil Davis, and I think Phil kind of had his number here. When was that? That was way back. Bellator 163, so that's November 2016. I didn't realize he's been in Bellator that long. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go Phil Davis. He's going to come back. He's going to win like he should. Yeah. Benson, Henderson, Adam Piccolotti. I think you keep thinking of Brian Piccolo. Was that the Brian song guy? Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. By the way, if you're on the Periscope, feel free to help me pick here. Ben Henderson. So he is 2 wins now. Sawad Awad, that was a great fight. Roger Huerta, not such a great fight. I mean, a win over Roger Huerta is not so impressive these days. No offense, Roger. Big fan. For that, loses to Patrick Fieri, Michael Chandler, split decision. Had that weird leg injury where he beat Patricio. Not quite the run you would hope for when he swapped over to Bellator. He's on Hawk Street though, Adam Piccolotti wins over James Terry, wins over Carrington Banks, loses David Rickles, loses to Gayuti Yamauchi, wins over Brandon Gertz. You know what? Strength of schedule, experience, all these things are going in favor for Benson Henderson. I think Benson takes this. All right. Rory MacDonald coming back in here. Welterweight where he belongs. He can say what he wants about missing a step against the great Gregor Masasi. Everyone says that Rory's too big. He's big enough so he could go to 185. No. Masasi just manhandled him, knocked him silly. Okay, Masasi belongs at 185 pounds. Masasi could fight at 205 pounds. He has fought 205 pounds. Let's not forget he picked apart Ilir Latifi, okay? And then he went down to 185. He thought he had a better path to the title, but this guy is a baller. He was a former 205 champion in Strikeforce. So, yeah, that guy is big for 185 pounds. That guy belongs at 185. Rory did not. He's a 175 pounder. I think he's much bigger than most of the guys at 170 pounds. There might be a few smaller guys out there, but no, this is Rory's weight class. He has beaten everybody so far he has gone against in the Bellator welterweight division. Paul Daly, Douglas Lima. I think he's going to do much the same. You got John Fitch. John Fitch, all of a sudden, wins a whole bunch in a row, dating back to 2015. Wow. Didn't realize that, Yushin Okami, Jake Shields, Brian Foster, Paul Daly, he wrestled him to death. But can he out-grapple Rory MacDonald? Don't think so. Rory has some nice wins. He beaten, former champ Tyron Woodley, out-grapple him. Tyron is a great wrestler. This is tough, man. John Fitch could come in and put it on, but he beat Damian Maia, the best grappler possibly to 170 pounds, and he kind of handled Damian. Tyron didn't. Tyron had to defend the takedown all night. So I think in strength of grappling, and he's got the sharper striking. He may be able to keep him at bay a little bit. I got to go Rory. Wouldn't surprise me if John Fitch came back and won, but I don't think he's going to. Yeah. So that's it. Those are my picks. UFC Fort Lauderdale. Bellator 220. As always, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, if I can find it, shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.